Hey, I'm Rachel, and I'm putting together a series of short videos for beginning gardeners showing how we are creating a backyard garden here in a typical suburban backyard. And this is the spring of 2020. We are in the middle of the COVID-19 outbreak, and we've all been told to shelter in place. And in my case, I'm an experienced gardener, and I had a pretty large vegetable garden at my house, but I was in the process of selling my home right when the outbreak hit. So I'm sheltering somewhere else, and I don't want to miss this growing season. So we're going to put together a new garden in a suburban backyard without investing a lot of money, and because we can't run out to the store to just buy things like compost. I'm also mostly going to be working with materials that we have on hand or that I can find in my neighborhood pretty readily. And I thought that all of those limitations might actually be useful to people out there that are in the same situation and trying to do the same thing. And even in the future, when we aren't facing an outbreak, I think the goal of doing things cost effectively and using what you already have is a good goal to keep. So I thought this would be relevant even in the future. So we're going to document this step by step. There are 6 big topics I'm going to try and cover. The first is site selection, so how you decide where on a lot you should put your garden. That one's pretty important. It dictates pretty much everything you're going to have to do from that point forward. And then I'm going to get into how I personally chose what to grow and how I laid out the garden and decided what gets planted where. We're going to show how we construct raised beds, because on this lot in particular, and I'll explain why, raised beds are an absolute must. And then we'll show how we created decent soil inside of those beds, and then ultimately I'm going to walk through the actual process of planting it out with spring crops and then later with our summer crops. And as the season goes on, I'll probably add to this series and show things like how to prune vegetables and the ones that require it, how to harvest, what we're harvesting, those kinds of things, insect control. But if there are any topics that I didn't mention and that you think would be of interest, please comment and I will try and work them in. My goal is just to be as helpful as I can and empower new gardeners with information, not make it overwhelming, keep it simple, and keep it really accessible for people. So let me know and I will adapt accordingly. Thanks.